Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your chain reaction report. You know, when I'm at work, I'm not on my phone much. I find phones very irritating to float around social media on. But I do go on to, post pictures of my paint stuff, things that I think look interesting in the can once the colors are dispensed, etc., etc., etc. So today I came across a meme, and again, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of memes. I think memes have become the downfall of American thinking. I think people really believe that memes are truthful. And I'm not, saying that I don't ever use them. I use them for the comedic effect. Like the picture of the guy with the dunce cap on that says dumbass on it. And underneath it says the American public. Those are the kind of memes I like. The kind of meme I saw today, I don't like. Because, again, it's bullshit. It's misleading. And people really believe that these are the way things go here in the United States. Now, before I start talking about this meme, let me just tell you that I agree that corporate America is self-serving. And I agree that pharmaceutical companies are greedy in general. But I don't think that they're all bad. I would have to suspend my thought process and just assume that every pharmaceutical company in the world sucks. They actually all don't. Purdue sucks because they created the opioid crisis. The piece of shit who raised the price of insulin so that it was unreachable, he was a piece of shit, essentially. And there are good and bad and everything. As I've said to you before, there are bad electricians. If you get a bad electrician, you don't start wiring your own house. We go out and find an electrician that isn't bad. Same thing with doctors, same thing with plumbers, same things with just about everything. And by the way, let me just also say this. The notion that the consuming American public is the total victim in everything is a bunch of shit too. Okay? It isn't the corporations are evil and bad, but the American people, they're just great. They're not. Okay? We love to be victims. Okay? So let me talk to you about this meme. So of course it is a picture of a guy sitting at a table with a bunch of money on it, just piled on the table, and it says Pfizer after telling everyone they need a booster. Again, breaking reality down into short little bites because the American people just can't handle reality. That's really where we are. People actually think that what happened is Pfizer got up one day and decided they needed to make money. So they called up the CDC and said everyone needs a booster, and everyone just went, okay, let's set it up. So here's the reality. It really isn't everybody getting a booster, okay? And it isn't just because Pfizer wanted to make money, because part of the study of vaccines, and actually any medication, is its effectiveness. For example, you get a flu shot, but you get that every fucking year. You get a shingle shot, but because you get that every fucking year, because it's not made to last a fucking lifetime. The reason you don't get polio shots anymore in the United States is because they eradicated polio. But if you go to a foreign country, I forget how many are on the list, but there are still countries when you travel to that you have to get a polio shot before you go because they haven't eradicated polio. Okay, and that whole natural immunity thing, think of all the crippled people we'd have on the planet if we all just decided to use our natural immunity instead of getting the vaccine. There are 700,000 fucking people dead in this country from COVID. We made that number today. It's too many fucking people dead in America from COVID. Seriously. So let's talk about the booster shot. These vaccines were created in the middle of a pandemic. They have been tested thoroughly. They've been tested on various age groups. They've been tested on various kinds of people. People with chronic illnesses, the elderly, the middle-aged, the 30-somethings. All of these people volunteered to be tested. No one forced them to be tested. No one's using them as guinea pigs. This is how science fucking works. Okay? So part of this deal is that the long-term look at the vaccines has to be how long is it effective against this disease. And by the way, the Delta variant was not even thought about when they developed these vaccines because it wasn't around. So, not everybody is getting the vaccines, okay? My kids, one 20, one almost 25, chose to get the vaccines. They are not eligible for the booster. Their age group isn't eligible for the booster. The people who are getting the boosters are the people who are immunocompromised, people with chronic illnesses, people with cancer. The elderly, people 65 and older. I'm 67. I'm getting my fucking booster. I'm getting my fucking booster because I had COVID. It took me 9 fucking weeks to feel good enough to go back to work and earn money. And I have long-term problems from COVID right now. I don't want it, even in its most innocent form. That's my choice. I am in the eligible range. I will get my fucking booster. And honestly, I could give one fucking fat rat's ass what you think of me because of it. Okay? That's what I think of you. So it isn't everybody getting the booster, and it isn't Pfizer calling up the CDC and the FDA and saying, hey, I need to make some money, so we need to put a booster in the marketplace. There's science behind the booster. But none of you want to go looking for that, do you? Because, whoa, they all made that shit up, didn't they? They all sat behind their little computers and made up reports and all that shit. Because you think that's really how this stuff works. There's a big, giant fucking conspiracy. Conspiracies work best when they're small. 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 They don't work so well when an entire globe is involved in it. Because someone's going to fucking talk. There's actually science behind the booster. Moderna, for example, is working on a booster that's going to incorporate the flu shot in it. So you only have to get one shot. Oh, I know. That's going to cause autism. I know. And now the notion of money. Let's talk for a few minutes, okay? I'm not sure that anybody really understands the whole process of drug development and what it takes, but my ex has worked in small biotech companies that develop new medications, and primarily medications to treat cancer. And these are medications that represent an advance over chemotherapy, because the goal is to not make people sick from taking these drugs, not making them nauseous and vomit, okay? They are working on drugs that work with your immune system to fight cancer, as opposed to loading up your immune system with chemicals to kill tumors, okay? So, we went out to dinner just recently, and she was telling us that the latest study that they conducted, which was on a small group, cost $15 million. $15 million. Why? Because they have to make sure they enroll the right people. So all of the people who are volunteering have to be screened to make sure they're eligible to take part in the study. Then they have to be followed by doctors throughout the test process. So doctors have to be hired and paid. They have to have number crunchers to crunch the statistics. Small startup companies hire these people on the outside. Then they have to have people who write the papers that present the results of the tests. Then they have to put together the paperwork to file with the FDA. There is a process of going through the creation of a new drug. This is how your birth control pills were developed, how your Viagra was developed, men. It isn't Dr. Merkel sitting in his fucking garage, sticking shit in a pill. It's, again, the American people have devolved so quickly since the advent of the internet and the meme. I find memes thoroughly annoying. I very rarely look at them. And I know that if I parroted the narrative with all of you like I kind of fell into for a little while, I know I would have so many more subscribers and people would pay so much more attention to me. But honestly, I don't want attention from people like you. I'm actually putting information out there that I know you don't want to fucking hear because it kind of busts a lot of your little bubbles, but I don't really give a shit. Because you know what? In the long term, I can't see me doing this for the rest of my life. I'm actually not planning on it. I'm actually some days ready to pack it in and leave you all to your devices. It's time to wake up, folks. Okay? Memes like that, they're very popular. Yeah, they're very popular because, according to you, they're representing the truth. But that's actually not the whole fucking truth. In fact, it's not even close to being the whole fucking truth. It can cost anywhere from several $1 million to $2 billion to create a new drug. And then, guess what? They have to have manufacturing facilities to manufacture the drugs. And you know what? You're all talking about how much money the pharmaceutical companies make. What about people who go around creating inordinate amounts of fear, uncertainty, and doubt over things that have existed for decades and have actually saved millions of lives? To the point where people are out there cheering when they have to throw away 600,000 doses because people won't get the vaccine. Do you know what a waste of money that is? You know what? That's not you taking a bite out of the pharmaceutical companies. That's you taking a bite out of your own ass. Wake up. You're a bunch of chuckleheads. And you're a very simplistic lot. If only life were as black and white as you folks make it. But you know what? There ain't nothing on this planet that's black and white. Except your thinking. Later.